available to members after today's call. So that has just started in the background now in terms of the session recording taking place. Also just want to thank the team from Kinetic today for taking the lead on today's round table. Just to introduce everybody that's on the call today, in case you're not aware, Kinetic CEO Luke Warren will be taking the lead from the call today, and we've also got David Wilkes, who's the CTO from Kinetic, along with Rob Johnson, who's head of products, Ali Bott, who's the head of sector development, and Rachel Wilson, who is head of account management. So hopefully at some point your paths will have crossed and you will have met some of the team from Kinetic. But without further ado, I will hand over now to Luke. Just to make people aware, there is the chat functionality within Teams. Please make the most of the chat feature. We will be answering questions as we go through, so use that to your full advantage, and we will have time at the end of the session as well for Q&A, as we usually do with the round tables. But I will hand over now to Luke, and yeah.
Thank you very much. And Sarah, and obviously the Cubo team, Jan, thank you so much for organising this and the opportunity to be here today. Really excited to give all of you guys an update on Kinetic and our activities. We've got some really exciting things to share with you, and we also realised that there were a number of questions posted quite recently on a forum, and we look forward to speaking to some of those as well throughout the content. I am joined with, as you heard from Sarah, I'm joined by a number of my colleagues. I don't think we need to do more of an intro than what Sarah has already done, but team, when you do get onto your slides, then maybe just say a word or two about who you are and maybe some of your own experience in and around the sector. So, I mean, let's get on to the agenda. If I can find my controls, there we go. So not going to go through this word for word, but we do plan to cover quite a lot today. And this will be a lot more enjoyable for everybody if there's engagement. So please, please, please interrupt. We are completely comfortable with you doing that. You won't disrupt our flow too badly. So please do ask questions, put a hand up, take yourself off mute, shout, do whatever makes you happy. And like Sarah said, you have also got the Q&A ability within the chat feature on Teams. So I'm what I've told Sarah, I'm bookending today. I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to see us home. I'll then be managing the chat feature in the meantime. So please do keep your questions coming. Looks like we already have a question. This is amazing. Hi, Melissa.
Are you actually giving me permission to heckle you? This is fabulous.
I think the thing is, Melissa, I am, but equally, if I click the three little dots next to your name, I can mute you.
Oh.
So, yeah, no, absolutely. Please do.
No, this is great.
Please do jump in if you've got a question. I promise you won't throw us off. So, yeah, so Kinetic, I realise I've seen the delegate list for today's session. There are a huge number of names I know well, but there are also some people that I don't. So without assuming everyone knows who we are and what we do, I just wanted to give you a small intro to Kinetic, really. So we just reached our 25th birthday. So we've been around a little while, but we like to see ourselves as much fresher than the 25 years may suggest. We always hold ourselves to account on being innovative and being fresh, and absolutely making sure that we are avoiding that dreaded complacency that so many businesses reach, particularly at that grand old age. We are now represented in 20 different countries. Our lion's share of customers are based in the UK, in Ireland, America, and Canada, but we do also now have experience across the countries like Australia and Malaysia, Sweden, Malta, Poland, Spain, and I could go on, Jamaica. I still need to do an account visit to our customer in Jamaica, but apparently that's not a good idea, not necessary, too expensive. But we do have customers out as far as Jamaica, which is pretty cool. We are covering just over 80% of the UK and Irish universities, which I think Rachel will cover on in a little bit more detail later. And we also work with 19 PBSA, so that's purpose-built student accommodation providers across the UK and the rest of Europe. These guys give us a really, I suppose, a unique perspective into a similar world to higher ed, but different. Their motives, their motivations, their targets, their objectives are so different, even though their primary function is to get students into beds so they can enjoy their education. Learning from both and sharing is something that's always really helped Kinetic and our customers. What do we do? Well, we supply mission critical software you can't do without mostly, to 350 customers worldwide. And that's helping us service over 180 million bed nights per annum. We recently were ranked #1. Rachel will also cover this in more detail, so I won't steal any thunder. But APUC, which most of you would have heard of by now, I'm sure. If not, there's more info coming. Ranked us as #1 for both price and product in a recent framework, which was pretty cool. And we're also part of a much larger family. So we're part of the Valaris Group, and I've got a little bit more information on Valaris Group here. Valaris are an operating group of Constellation Software Incorporated. That's a business traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange. We are the 6th largest software business in the world. So the only businesses larger than us are the likes of... Oh, I'm just getting a little bit of feedback from someone. I'm not sure where that's coming from. It stopped. Thank you so much. So we're ranked the 6th largest software business in the world as Constellation, only beaten by people like Apple and Microsoft, Spotify, Netflix, household name. But Constellation isn't a household name and doesn't want to be. That's not the objective. There's very limited ego going on there. They like being behind the scenes. They are a bit special, and only in a good way. We've never ever sold a business, and we have just over 1,000 businesses. Never ever sold one. So when they buy a business, they hold them forever, and that's a commitment they make to the founder when they buy the business. There are over 200 companies in 50 countries as part of Valaris, so we're just one operating group within Constellation, and we serve a huge amount of variety, really, as far as vertical markets are concerned. We do, however, have a huge amount of, we spend a huge amount of our time within the higher education sector. So you can see on screen there a series of other logos: AssetWorks, Web Checkout, Catertrax, Occam Selcat, and of course Kinetic. There are more, but these guys, including us, spend a lot of their time focusing on higher education, and that's great for us because we get to socialize and learn from people that also do what we do across other territories globally, and the learning we get from that is completely invaluable. It's so special. Valaris Constellation, they devolve all decision making. So whilst we are owned by a huge software business, we make all of our own decisions at HQ in Kinetic. Our parent company don't actually see our strategy. They leave us to it, and they rely on us to put our hands up when we want support and help, which we do regularly. Let me talk to you a little bit more about what that means, because I do believe that this is important to our customers. So we are owned by a buy and hold acquirer. This means that once we're purchased, we're never, ever sold again. They typically only buy established businesses. They don't take huge risks, essentially. They do like stable businesses, businesses with great foundations, and they'll only buy a business if they can wholly own it. They won't take a fraction of a business. They want complete control of those businesses. And they protect those businesses, and they help them build for the future. All of our investments are forecasted over at least 10 years, which is completely different to some of the other models. So there's a long-term view with a buy and hold acquirer. Many of you will know that we recently partnered with a company named Parcel Tracker. That's a really young business with some seriously exciting technology. They are invested in by a venture capital firm. They typically invest in early stage businesses, businesses with high potential but high risk. They take minority shares. They don't like to take 100% ownership, and it is a real risk. They buy 10 stakes in 10 businesses, and they hope that 2 of them are rocket ships. They hope that 5 of them do okay, and the rest of them, for all intents and purposes, we don't really care if they die, is their attitude. They are highly kind of risk oriented, and they take a medium term view. We have a competitor called Starez in the marketplace who we respect. They are owned by a private equity business. they also really typically only buy established businesses. They're looking for dramatic growth. They like to roll up companies and then resell them. And in this case, the owner of our competitor likes to sell every 4.7 years. And you can see the source of that data down at the bottom if you wanted to check it out. They take a real short-term view, sell, and then sell the business is typically their business strategy. So we do feel that our ownership is really important. It's really supportive of our customers. Our parent company love the fact that we do focus on long-term sustainable support of our customers. Oh, sorry, I'm getting some feedback again there. So just moving on from that, I realize there's a little bit of interest in our P&L, our profit and loss. These are the numbers that we submit to Companies House as a UK registered business. You can get a huge number of pages on Companies House on Kinetic, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more context on what you might be looking at if this is something you're interested in digging into. So here's a screenshot from what you might find. And you'll see that our turnover is £8 million, but our profit for the year is 9.3. We're not magicians. It's just really hard to decipher what our P&L is actually trying to tell you. And the reason for that is this. We are the acquisition hub in the UK for a number of sister companies. So we were one of the very first acquired businesses in the UK. We have a legal entity structure and a tax structure that's supportive of any acquisitions that our parent company make. So actually, a lot of our sister companies' financials run through the profit and loss of Kinetic. So you're not going to, I'm afraid, see or find many insights in checking out our P&L. I would just encourage anyone that has any questions on this front to ask us directly. We would only be too happy to answer the questions we're allowed to answer. And I mention allowed because we are traded on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and we have to. There are a bunch of rules we have to follow to prevent trading breaches. So there are things we can't say and the things we can say. We're very happy to share what we can. But you can see here that actually, it really does. In a single picture, explain what I was just saying. We made serious investments as part of Kinetic during 2020 and 2021, but these are simply just acquisitions made by our parent company. They don't really impact Kinetic. But are we profitable? And how do we compare? We are profitable. We are absolutely making a profit. It's slightly below the average profit margin made by a software as a service provider in the UK and in America, which are the two territories that we like to compare against. And that's okay. I have been making decisions over the last 3 or 4 years to actually reduce our profit margins to invest in more people. And you'll see some of the numbers there as we move into the slides. To give you an example, in 2021, we had around 85 people, and in 2023, we have 105. And those people have been employed, largely speaking, to better support our customers. And we'll dig into some of the areas that those people have been added shortly. But yeah, I'm going to go and dive into the Q&A to make sure that I've not missed anything there. Keep the questions coming, please. And I'm going to hand over to Rachel.
Thank you, Luke. Hopefully I've taken control. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Yes. So as we've kind of discussed, we've started to go into the strategic side of things now. So just to explain, this is a snippet from our strategic plan. So there's a lot more that goes into this than just what you see on the screen. But this is just to demonstrate that our core purpose is to innovate and is to develop products specifically for the HE sector. So specifically for you guys. And our strategic plans always have this at the heart of everything that we're striving to achieve as a whole and also on a departmental basis. So this splits down into the departmental side of Kinetic as well. So we are here to help you and your teams deliver the best possible student and customer experience. And that is what this is all about. As you can see from our core values, all of those kind of work in tandem. So we empower our community to innovate, and out of that comes some amazing products that you guys use so that you can deliver that best possible experience. And it's worth noting as well that from November last year, we did make the strategic decision to solely focus on the HE sector. So we do work with others as well, such as unique venues. But we've made that decision to make sure that all of our strategic planning and anything that goes into that is solely focusing on HE and what you guys need, which we feel shows a lot about who we are and what our aims are as a partner. So if we look at this from a kind of market overview, just so that everyone can understand where we sit, particularly we've focused on the UK higher education market for this. So we have 125 customers in the UK HE market alone, and we work with 86% of the top 50 and 80% of the top 100 universities, as you can see here. And these universities which you are part of are generating a massive £2 billion annually through your residential and commercial operations, which Kinetic, of course, helps to manage and process through the software. And because of this, our software is seen as business critical, which I hope you agree with. Now, if you look at our head count, which Luke has touched on as well, our head count has increased over recent years. And to be honest, the main reason for this is because of the demand of the sector. So due to you expecting and wanting more from us, rather than because, for example, we've increased the number of customers, for example, it is because of the demands of the sector. We will continue to increase that further as and when we need it as well. So we really are doing everything that we can to deliver exactly what you deserve and exactly what you want. So to make this happen, we did review our pricing strategy. So a lot of you will know exactly what this is. But this is our kind of fair pricing strategy where you all had an updated contract. So 94% of our UK HE customers have now been on our fair pricing journey with us. So we're almost there. And since then, around a third of customers have either signed into a further multi-year agreement or have continued past their original multi-year agreement and are now on an annual rolling contract, which they've then decided to continue with. So they've decided that even after that, they want to continue with Kinetic. So although there was a lot of talks in the sector particularly just to begin with, which does go a few years back now, it's began in 2019, we do feel that there is now understanding behind the rationale behind everything. So particularly for those that did, for example, have to go out to market, and then at the time they went out to market and they've still stayed with us beyond that point. The price that we took customers from and to differed, depending on different factors. And the reason that we did this, for example, the reason we put a line pricing is because of it did depend on when people originally signed their contract. So, for example, whether it was 25 years ago versus 10 years ago, the price that people were paying was very different. And until we'd started on this journey, we'd never increased the prices above inflation, despite our products being very different now to what they were, of course, 20 years ago, because we all know how much technology has changed over that time, but our prices hadn't. So throughout this journey, and before we took everyone else on this journey, we researched the market. We considered our offerings and our future developments that you wanted and what you was asking for. And we made some changes. So, for example, we changed our price bands. So we added an additional price band for smaller customers, and we included some product inclusions that you can see along the bottom here into the contract. So some of you will have already had these products and you're already paying for them. So the annual license fee was removed throughout this process. And then others, you were able to add them throughout the journey as well. So we just tried to make it as fair as possible for you guys, for our customers, and particularly because you began to make some noise about paying different rates to each other, and we based it on a fair market value against our competitors. So it's worth noting in terms of fair market value against competitors and other things as well, it's worth noting that on average you pay 0.5% of revenue that you generate, whereas typically the percentage is between 1 to 2% of revenue. So looking at everything combined here, the alignment, the fair market value against competitors, the typical cost of mission critical software such as this, it is a fair price overall. And that's what we've ended up with. If I just move on, so Luke touched on this at the start with APUC. So as I've mentioned just now, we have a lot of customers who have recontracted with us. So since taking you on this journey, we've become a part of the APUC framework. And people have used this to recontract with us since signing the updated contract that we took everyone through. So particularly, we know that there's reasons that you have to because of procurement. So through the APUC framework, we've made it easier for universities and the higher education to do that. So we've been ranked number 1 on all of these lots that you can see here. And there's different reasons for this and how we did this. So we've been ranked number 1 against a number of things. So our knowledge, innovation, and the technical aspects of our products being the best. But not just the products themselves, but how we then deliver these products to you and our customers or our future customers, just ensuring that we're with you every step of the way. We've been ranked number 1 based on the support we give during and after the project implementations as well, and the feedback that we receive from the tickets support this as well, which David will go on to talk about. And finally, Kinetic does offer value for money against others in our field, and this is after we've taken you through the fair pricing journey and aligned your pricing, because all pricing via the APUC framework is our up-to-date newest pricing. So the likes of StarRes, Luke mentioned before, were part of this journey, and we were ranked number 1 against StarRes and our other competitors against all of these things. So in terms of what does this mean for you, there are lots of different call-off options that you can do via the APUC framework, which I can go into more detail individually as well. So please do reach out after if you want me to take you through anything. But there's different call-off options available. Because we've been ranked number 1, you can just opt to call off directly through this process directly with us, so almost missing out all of the competition. You can only do it with Kinetic because we're the ones that have been ranked number 1, so it does make things a lot easier for you to go down that route should you wish to. The experience is a lot better as well, so it's a seamless contracting process without needing to go back and forth between legal teams to agree the contract terms. So negotiations have already been agreed on behalf of the sector, and we know how frustrating that process can be otherwise, because it can be quite time consuming. And then finally, we have the peace of mind as well that you're being compliant. So we're all aware of the procurement regulations. This just removes a barrier due to the direct award call-off option, and procurement will be happy to move forward with that. I've just included a few of the bodies that are included in this, but again, I can go into much more detail if anyone needs to. But just to put all of this into context before I move on to Rob, the amount of effort that went into being ranked number 1 and kind of proving that we were number 1 was a lot. So we went on a hell of a journey to be ranked number 1. So we did numerous presentations, videos, we created a microsite just for APUC to view. Over 60 documents were completed, over 700 system related questions were answered. So a lot of time and effort went into this to make sure that we were being ranked number 1 for the right reasons. So yeah, like I say, if anyone's got any questions, just reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to take you through anything to do with this. I'll move on to Rob, so you can go through the product side of things.
Thanks, Rachel. Just looking for control. Doesn't seem like I've got control. Can someone click the slide for me? Perfect, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rob Johnston, Head of Product at Kinetic. Worked in the business for around 18 years. not only am I a technology enthusiast and all about innovation, but my background is kind of customer service. So I actually ran the support desk at Kinetic for around 8 years. So it's great to see some really familiar faces on the call. But yeah, my new role of head of product is managing the products team and strategically moving our products forward. So the products that you see on screen right now are established products in the market, very familiar to you all, and I'm sure products that you rely on a day-to-day basis. It's fair to say that these products have all been enhanced and improved over the last 12 months or so. One of the things that is really obvious when you look at the analysis of versions that our clients are running, 58% of our clients are running versions that are what we would say supported. So versions that have been released in the last 2 years or so, meaning that there are 42% of clients that are actually running versions that are unsupported. So despite these products having improvements in terms of enhancements, bug fixes, security and vulnerability patching, there are actually 42% of our customers that aren't being able to kind of take that value forward. So upgrading versions is really important to us, and we'll be reaching out to many of you over the next few months or so to try and encourage that move into more current versions of software. Someone click again, please. Perfect. So over the last few years, we've invested millions of pounds in kind of innovation, and you'll all be very much aware of Pulse, which is our new multi-tenanted cloud system. And Pulse is enabling us to migrate or re-platform our existing product set into the cloud, and not just migrate in terms of copying like for like. What we're doing is we're evolving and building brand new product, which takes our products to the next stage and actually improves you as businesses and your operational efficiencies. So conferencing is pretty far through the migration. We're around 80% of the migration, and I'll come on to how we kind of how we complete that on my next slide. But what Pulse has also enabled us to do is to also innovate in form of new products as well. So things like KX Payment, Student Life and Customer Hub are brand new products that have actually come through innovation by working with our customers and understanding pains and frustrations that you had in terms of the current offering and gaps in the market. And we've produced these new products. And Ali's going to give you a little bit of insight into exactly what these products can do. Oh, my light's gone out. Sorry. What these products can do for you. One thing that I'd like to also touch upon is the to kind of follow on from Luke's point around investment in staff. Our products team have increased in terms of numbers. So over the last 12 months, we've also taken on 3 new members of our product team. And what that's enabled us to do is it's enabled us to represent the voice of our customer during the development and product lifecycle process. So you would have, you and your colleagues would have experienced, hopefully, a number of our products team being in touch and running validation sessions of new ideas and prototypes, products team on site, observing and seeing how you're using products and trying to understand how we can evolve that product set for you moving forward. So yeah, some real investment there from a product perspective in terms of people. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to talk you through a little bit of activity over the last 12 months or so and give you some visibility into where we're moving with our product set. So just focusing on our commercial product set to start with. As I mentioned earlier, our conferencing migration to Pulse is really is pretty much through the whole process. We now run from inquiry through to final invoice, so you can do that all via the new conferencing product on Pulse. And what this has done is provided you increased mobility within your team. So your team can now walk around the operation, accessing conferencing on Pulse, being able to view things like conference diary, being able to kind of access contact records, etc. on the move. All of this is now available any device, anywhere, at any time. We've introduced updated dashboard capabilities. So now when you log into conferencing on Pulse, those key reporting statistics are available to you without having to generate like a standardized report to get that information. And we've also introduced Customer Hub, which is our self-serve portal for your customers to interact with you. So reducing administration time for them to be able to make bookings for events and inquiries into the system. And we've also introduced some KX payments functionality within residential itself. So being able to take pre-authorization of cards as part of your process, being able to refund and use virtual terminals via the back office system itself as well. Next slide, please. You might have to click for a few screenshots. So I just wanted to give you some visibility around Pulse and how the products are looking. So dashboarding capabilities. Next slide. Yep, expanding, being able to see these, being able to export, send these kind of dashboard snapshots of information to you and your colleagues. Next slide. Just some simple design on the conference room plan. Again, accessible anywhere, any device. Next slide. You can see just some real UX kind of tweaks on like how quotes look. So some real kind of being able to see totals really clear and the grid, being able to drag and drop, etc. So some real seamless UX and UI improvements. Next slide. Yep. So events running dashboard. Keep going. So being able to be really proactive. So this is what we call our room finder in Conferencing on Pulse. So based on your inquiry and your requirements that you're putting into the system's automatically suggesting the type of room that you should be putting forward for your inquiry. So really kind of instinctive use of the system. It's actually proactively showing you the types of rooms that you should be putting forward for those inquiries. Next slide. Next slide. Just simple UX design. Yeah, I think we can click through the rest. So yeah, next coming in 2024. So we're well on the way of completing the migration. We will be finishing all of the conferencing migration in 2024. So looking at how you communicate with your customers, taking existing screens such as dialogue and mail-ins and actually merging it into one, using some state-of-the-art kind of mail template customization functionality and allowing you to really clearly communicate with your customers, notifications and actions, so triggering the ability to follow up and to chase inquiries, for example, that functionality moving across to Conferencing on Pulse. And then a real focus on enhancing the delegate management side of the system. So bringing in front of house operations such as check-in, check-out, being able to manage delegate accounts, and then a standardized reporting suite. So those reports that you are still using KX Conferencing for, migrating that reporting suite across to Conferencing on Pulse. Next click, please. And then in terms of research and customer focus groups that we're currently running, we really want to get you to play your part in kind of shaping how some of the new functionality develops. So we have the opportunity to review things like pricing structures of bedrooms, and I know it's quite rigid in the way that it currently works in KX Residential and Conferencing. So one of the things that we certainly want to really focus on is trying to provide you with that flexibility to be able to flex rates and to be able to sell your bedrooms differently. And that's via improved direct booking sites and also enhancing our OTA integration via the BedBooker platform. And then looking to create things like data warehousing so that you can plug in your external reporting capabilities or your BI powered reporting capabilities. Next slide, please. So that's kind of focusing on our commercial product activity. I want to give you a little bit of an overview in terms of how our student products have been morphing over the last 12 months and then what you can look forward to moving forward. So KX Student and Student Web, we've added some new functionality within all of those products. And again, going back to my original point around running latest versions, these are now available to you as of today. So we've added some new reporting capabilities in KX Student to allow reporting based on DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. Dashboarding capabilities that you can pivot the data, export out, and include, add your own dashboards for when you log in so that you get that snapshot information as you log into the system. The ability to hook your student web process up to like social logins and single sign-on integration. And as Luke mentioned earlier, we've also integrated with a company called Parcel Tracker, a real innovative piece of technology to allow you to manage your parcel management system within the university itself. We have the ability for your students now to manage and update their cards and manage their payment plans via their web student portal. And we also integrate your student web process with some alternative payment methods such as Apple Pay and Google Pay, but also open banking, which I'm sure Ali will talk about when we get to the KX payment stage. As part of the room service package, we're also migrated across a lot of functionality onto Enterprise Edition over the last year or so. So functionality around offers, applications, and dashboarding is now available on that Enterprise Edition. So that migration will continue into 2024. Next click, please. So what can you look forward to from a student perspective in 2024? Already we're working on building a set of APIs that is going to allow us to then build student products in the cloud on our Pulse platform. So already we're building those foundations of data APIs and backend services that are going to be required to build the student product on. We're also working on some functionality for book now groups. So students being able to apply contracts and select their room in one seamless process, but allowing that for groups of students together as well. And that's going to be available early 2024 for you. The first morph of a student product within Pulse will be really focused on that your customer facing teams. So those arrivals and departures processes will be coming in 2024. And then we also want to look at how we deploy changes to you for your student web. So providing faster deployments, making sure that those upgrades and those changes you're making to your student web journey are seamless and very low risk and not causing any issues at all. And also giving you the capability to make changes yourself rather than having to come to us to customize and make your yearly changes, giving you the power to make those changes yourself. Next click, please. And there's lots of thoughts and research and discovery going on around the student side. So again, focus groups that we'd love for you to get involved in. Our inspections product is going through a revamp at the moment. So we're talking to lots of customers that have used inspections either now or previously, and we are building a new product of inspections. We're also looking at the student web journey as a whole, and how do we innovate and bring that forward. How do we introduce new innovations and functionality to that student web journey? So are we actually meeting all of your needs and your student needs as part of that journey? So lots of research going on. How do we mobilize your teams? How we've done from the conferencing perspective, how do we make your student facing teams a lot more mobile with their access to the systems? And also from a room service perspective, how do we integrate with the other side of your business that's using some of the Kinetic commercial products? How do we make those two products talk to each other? So looking at integrating our two products together. And then how do we start to look at third-party integrations? How do we use best-in-class products that you're using to integrate into our student offering? So lots of activity you'll see going on. Yes, Luke.
Just a quick one. Thank you so much to Bob, who I hope has just got us started on the questions. Bob asks, are there any plans for self-service customization in conferencing and residential?
Definitely, yes. So when we come to looking at things like booking platforms, etc., for residential, again, giving you the ability to make customization and changes yourself. I mentioned earlier around like the communications in terms of template management, again, giving you the power back into your own hands to be able to create all of that content yourself rather than having to rely on our Kinetic support services to be able to do that. So yes, to answer the question. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight into where we're starting to move towards in terms of our product set. But yeah, if you have any further questions on that, by all means, drop questions into the chat or reach out to myself direct or the products team. We're more than happy to jump on a call and talk through this in more detail. I think I'm handing over to Ali, who's going to talk a little bit more about some of those innovations that I mentioned.
Great, thanks Rob, and great to meet everyone on this call. My name's Ali, I'm Head of Sector Development here at Kinetic, and I am one of the new recruits that the team have been hinting at throughout this presentation. I joined Kinetic just under a year ago from the student accommodation sector myself, previously working at universities as a Kinetic user. So my role has been very much dedicated to the innovations that we have spoken about. So I'm going to walk you through all three of these today, just with a quick overview of how we have innovated across both our student and commercial product suite. So first, to kick us off, we have Student Life, and Student Life is our new student wellbeing and welfare product. We identified a need a few years ago, just for the pandemic, that there was a need for teams to be able to track, record, monitor and identify trends with student wellbeing to enable you to see that holistic view of the student and connect those dots quickly to help you intervene as soon as possible. The system enables you to monitor student progress across those different metrics and use dashboards such as these two to identify those trends and really keep reporting on your KPIs, enabling functionality across your department for where that resource needs to be targeted. It does also allow you to assign actions across the teams. So an example of a user that has this already uses this with residential wardens. So where wardens can be assigned actions for their shift and enable them to go out in their shift and monitor that online and through our technology so that the day team can then pick that up immediately, removing the need for things like emails, spreadsheets, Microsoft Forms, SharePoint forms, where lots of admin can be occurring and can be counterproductive. We also have recently, just in the July release, refined our mobile version of this, mainly for that purpose of residential wardens. So anyone, be that a warden or a full-time staff member, can now access Student Life via mobile, tablet, however is best. So when they're out and about in your halls of residence, they can record, track and report any wellbeing content that you would need to record on that system directly, with removing the need for you to come back to the office. We've then got Customer Hub, which, as Rob mentioned, is a new innovation in our commercial suite. So this is around your space booking and management of those spaces that your customers, your users, that be that student or staff departments, that need to book those meeting rooms or larger spaces for a different purpose. So this platform enables them to view these 24/7, anytime, anywhere, on any device. And you can configure this to enable you to have full control over what your customers need to see. So example there would be a student group might be able to just see hot desking, whereas a senior manager group may see a different set of rooms for lecture rooms, meeting rooms, seminar rooms, etc. There's also options and functionality within the system now around booking catering and equipment, if applicable to their booking. And again, you are in full control of this as well. We've then also added that finalise and send contracts piece following validation with the customer base to enable you to send contracts through that Customer Hub ability for them to sign and see those contracts, as well as quotes and deposit schedules via their Customer Hub platform. This enables a two-way communication between yourselves and your customer, where they can log on to that platform and see and have reassurance of every detail of their booking as they need, whenever they need, keeping your phone lines and email inboxes slightly clearer, we hope. Within this as well, from a financial perspective, we have now also launched that ability around like PO, bug codes, being able to be flexible with what you need from your customer base from that input of those forms as well, which, seeing some names on this call, you have been paramount in helping us identify and develop moving forward. And finally, our last innovation is KX Payments. Now, this bridges over both the student and commercial product suites. So looking at sector trends and consumer trends, just in general in the UK, there are a variation of payment methods now that are online based that people are using, in particular Gen Z and Gen Alpha. And that could be anything from mobile wallets, open banking, bank transfers, and what we call APMs, which are alternative payment methods such as Google Pay and Apple Pay. We're really pleased with this product that we're now able to put all of that into the student web process, where you can enable your students to pay via any means of your choosing. Something like open banking will reduce those acquirer fees for you, benefiting your processes, and also enabling students and or parents or guardians to make that payment really quickly and seamlessly within our student web portal, removing the need to go out to a third party. Within KX Residential, this feature is now also available, where we're looking at integrating that with B&B as well, coming up to Q3, and it will mean that you can set up those single instalment payment plans for a pay now book later option as well. All of those payments are then coordinated across your entirety of your back office, meaning that debt reconciliation and payment process is seamless. We've also built in the ability of the virtual terminal, which I hope you can see here on the iPad screenshot, which can be fully branded to your needs and enable your teams to take payment either over the phone or straight away at the desk via the Kinetic system. Just looking in the Q&A, if there's any questions about those three, I am available and my contact details will be shared for any follow-ups on these three products if you do have any questions after the call.
Thank you for that, Ali. We do have a question from Andrew, not necessarily about the free innovation type products. Andrew asks, will the long-term plan be to migrate KX Student and Room Service products to consolidate as a single product in Pulse, or will these remain separate products? Rob, can I ping that one at you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andrew, for the question. It's a situation that we continue to assess. We think that having two products that offer slightly different strengths is actually something that we value. However, there are definitely areas that we feel we could be probably more joined up in terms of the two products. So it makes sense at times to build something once and then to allow both products to consume what we've built. So a great example of that could be when we look to look at the student web journey, for example, and look to enhance that. It made sense to build it once and allow all of our customers to benefit from the new innovation that we're doing. So it's a situation that we continue to monitor, and at the moment the two products remain separate, but it's something in the future that potentially we'd look to have a consolidated platform.
Cheers, Rob. It's also worth noting, Andrew, that we are investing in both. And we continue to invest in both. So we haven't made a behind the scenes decision to press pause or anything of the kind. So both products, Enterprise Edition, i.e. Room Service, and KX Student, are both receiving plenty of investment. So no immediate plans there. But appreciate the question. Okay, Ali, you are handing over to David.
Just remember to turn the mic on. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm David Wilkes. I'm Chief Transformation Officer at Kinetic. I founded Ockham back in 1998, and we joined the Kinetic family in 2018, which is just over 5 years ago now. Over the past 2 years, I've been leading the support teams. There are two of them, the KX Help Desk and the Room Service Help Desk, and also the professional services team who deliver services to you day to day for your projects. So I'm aware we're tight for time, so this won't take too long. I've got a couple of slides for you just to give you a heads up on what we're doing on support and what we're doing on the services side. So first of all, support. We've got 24 staff in the support team supporting both KX and Room Service. And since 2019, we've added 6 there are 6 staff within that number that have been added in that period. And in addition, we've created a dedicated cloud ops team who look after our hosting environments. That's been a bit of a growth area for the business. 16% of our higher education customers are now hosted, and it's a fast growing part of the business. So we're expecting that team to develop and expand over the coming years. To give you an idea of the numbers involved, some animation there. We're processing across the two help desks around 8,000 tickets per year. We are handling around 500 upgrades every year, which sounds like a phenomenal number, doesn't it? We sort of double up there because we do a test upgrade and then a live upgrade. I think one of the things that we've been able to achieve over the past 3 years in particular is to drive down the number of reported defects we receive on the products. And that's a sort of a testament to the work that the products team have done to improve the products, and the importance that Rob mentioned of keeping your products upgraded and taking the latest releases. So even on this year, we're sort of 16% down on last year. So that sort of trend to improve product quality is very demonstrable. That's also in the context of our ticket volume increasing by 10% this year. So that sort of introduces minor challenges for us as the ticket volumes go up. And when that comes in, it means we're sort of focusing now our efforts on what we call shift left. And that means that we're trying to, for example, empower yourselves to answer questions through help desk services that are online, empowering the first line team to resolve tickets rather than push them through to second or third. We're driving down the wait times, but we want to retain that in-person contact that builds the long-term trust. So I think one of the big achievements for the team this year is that our wait times are now at an all-time low, or certainly since I've been reporting on it over the last sort of 6 years they are. And the help desk is in a much healthier position than it's ever been. So we're feeling pretty good about developing our processes for the coming year. The services team, they employ 12 staff. To give you an idea of perspective there, we're delivering around 300 projects a year. That takes around 10,000 hours of our team's time, which is an average of 30 hours per project. So a lot of these projects aren't particularly small, they can be quite chunky. And on average, if we add up all of those projects, we're actually delivering to budget, which is a big jump forward from where we were, say, 5 years ago. The biggest challenge we have in the team is that demand's increased 60% on last year. So we're having to develop our operating model. The main drivers there are really trying to measure ourselves against best practice and look at how we deliver the projects. So we're placing particular emphasis on how we can reduce the time to deliver projects and how we can reduce waiting times. And there's quite a bit of work going on there between the PS and the products team, for example, to find more efficient ways of delivering the product so that we can eliminate some of the time that we have to spend at the moment. So there's more to come on services, and we're greatly appreciative of the work that you ask us to do for us. And some of the student web projects in particular that we've delivered have been hugely exciting for us and impressive in terms of what they've delivered. And yeah, we're sort of fit for purpose, and we'd like to talk to you a bit more if you've got projects that you'd like us to take on board. I'm going to hand over now back to Ali, I believe. Is that right? Back to you, Ali. Oh,
just
David, I've got a couple of questions there, haven't I?
Yeah, there's a question and a non-question. So Melissa Brown from Kent just wants to let you know that you're a legend.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa.
I agree with that. Andrew asks if there are any plans to implement an AI chatbot for support queries.
Really good question. We've kicked off a project, Andrew, to migrate our help desks, both of them, onto Salesforce. And Salesforce has AI capabilities built into it. We're just at the start of that project. The room service help desk will move first in the coming weeks, actually, and then that will be followed by the KX help desk. And once we've got them up and running, we'll come back and look at chatbots as part of our 2024 work. Suzanne says, was Rob saying that KX Student might not become a SaaS solution? Do you want to pick that up at the end or now?
I can take it now if you want. Yeah, Suzanne, that's not what I was saying. So sorry if it came across that way. Currently, our focus is on building all of the core APIs and the data services that are required in order to then start to build that student product in the cloud. So yeah, certainly that is still the intention. Is the student products in the cloud you'll start to see some UI next year.
There's a question from Andrew just around AI for student or customer queries in the respective hubs. I presume that's we're talking there about the student portal and the customer hub portal in terms of actually customers consuming AI within our products.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that AI is something that we're really aware of, and we'd love to be able to roll it into our product set at some stage. Those customer focus groups that I spoke about earlier, those are the types of ideas that we're discussing with customers at the moment. So yeah, certainly intention to keep innovating and bring in like new technology into products. So yeah, certainly something that we're thinking about at the moment.
I think it's worth noting that we have two threads on AI in the business. So one thread is how do we give customers AI to support them better, and how do we support ourselves better with AI to better support our customers? So i.e., how do we empower our team to use artificial intelligence? You don't necessarily get to see that, but they're actually helping you better, faster, more efficiently because they're using AI. So we're exploring AI through two threads, and we have some projects ongoing in the background, that way round.
Interestingly, Valaris are giving us some support with that as well. In January, they're hosting a AI session for Valaris companies, and we'll be participating in that to get sort of broader insight from Microsoft and Amazon and people like that on how they suggest we adapt our models to AI.
Brilliant. So I'm just conscious of time. We have a grand total of 5 minutes left. So Ali, if you're ready, let's move this on.
Yeah. So just to summarise, I'm going to talk through around our customer experience, our customer success team, and then just go through a summary of the different teams that we've gone through today. So thinking about our customer success team, we're in place to help you get the best out of your products. We employ 5 staff dedicated to the customer experience, and we are working on ensuring that you are getting that best out of your products to your best ability. So for that, we have now hosted over 100 people this year at free training sessions at our head office in Milton Keynes, and we have even more to come. We still have around 7 sessions to run this year, one of which is going ahead today for Kinetic conferencing, I believe, and we're really enjoying hosting everyone in our offices. And here are just some snapshots really of what to expect and the fun and enjoyment that's gone in on those sessions. We've also launched Kinetic Voices this year. Hopefully all of you on the call have seen those either via LinkedIn or even via email, where we're looking to provide insights for the sector by the sector. So talking to experts like yourselves, as well as Kinetic experts and consultants in higher education to share and those trends that are ever evolving with the higher education sector. We've started introducing success plans as well, helping us track the progress on any tasks and projects together, both as you as a customer and us as Kinetic, to enable that we've got a really collaborative approach on what we need to do to help you succeed. And through those, we're also identifying your customer goals. So we're now moving towards a more strategic approach in recording and understanding those core business goals and strategies that you have in your universities and in your departments, for how we can look at those and how we can help you achieve those as well, whether it's from us as experts in our product suite, or whether it's us helping you with those product developments and innovations that we've gone through today, helping us keep as up to date as possible. There is a quote at the top of the screen, which I am not going to read out for the sake of time, but this is a recent customer who has commented on that relationship and how it has really helped them progress and improve the overall service that they've offered, not just from Kinetic themselves, but as a department as a whole. And not to give too much away, but we are preparing for 2024 to enhance our customer experience even further. And at Kinetic Live in Luke's welcome and strategy reveal, all will be revealed. And for any of you that are unfortunately not able to join us, we will be communicating that with you thereafter. If you are interested in joining the conference and you haven't yet joined, it is the last chance. Our tickets do close next week. We are really excited to see those of you that are joining us. There is a code, thanks to Luke, called CEO that you can use on the system as a special code to get you and any colleagues 20% off our booking. Our aim with this conference is to always improve and enhance our services and your experience, and therefore the company has ensured prices are in line with our 2019 conference as well. So really hope to see those of you there. If there are any questions about conference, or if you can only join us for a day, or if you want to get your hands on content from it, please reach out to me and I can do my best to help you and advise further. So just to summarise from all of that information you've heard today, I'm conscious we've only got 1 minute left, but just to highlight those touch points. So as you can see on the screen, we have multiple teams in Kinetic, all with humans behind those screens. I remember from being a customer myself, I used to just see names and icons on support tickets, but we are here, we are coming out on site. If there is anything you would like to speak to us about, you can reach out to any of us that are on the call today and any of our colleagues that you may already be in touch with as well. We love getting on site and love watching how you see our products and how we can help you even further. As you can see, those range from account management, customer success, our support team, professional services, and research and development, as Rob's spoken about at length today around our product suite, and also our events. We are increasing the number of webinars we run, our free training days, and even our 2-day annual conference making a return this year to really encourage us and yourselves to engage and learn from each other to be the best that we can.
Thank you very much, Ali, and thank you, team, as well. And audience, thank you so much for the questions that you put forward. I'm not going to read through all of this. We are out of time. We are growing as a team. We're at 105 people. That's significantly more than we were last year, the year before, and the year before that. Those people are being hired to best support our customers as demands increase. We are always still learning, and something I encourage our team to do is be vulnerable to that. Make sure that we take on board the feedback, the advice, the learning from customers, and use it in our decision making. So we just hope that you continue to give us that feedback and that opportunity to grow and improve. I'm in no rush to head off, so we are at time. So I guess people do have meetings to go to. Please don't be late. But I'm in no rush to head off. So if anyone wants to hang around and ask any questions, please do. And all that's left to say is thank you so much for your time.
Thanks very much for the team at Kinetic. It's really, really interesting to find out everything that you've got going on. And thank you to everybody joining the call today. We will be sharing the link for the video later on, and I will also have a copy of the slides from the team, which we will put to the members area later as well. But thank you to everybody for giving up their time this morning. I think that was a really, really beneficial call. Thank you.
Thanks for arranging it, Sarah.
Luke and KX team, I'm leaving now as well, but thanks very much for coming to give this presentation. It's been really, really interesting. I'll probably be more chatty when we see each other face to face.
Brilliant. I have an email in my draft just confirming the 9th is good for a visit to Kent.
Yeah,
so
no, it's
that'll be
great.
going shortly. Looking forward
But it's
to that.
really exciting to hear all the things that you are working. And I have to say the customer service side has really, really, really improved over the years. So Ali and team, thank you very much.
That's nice of you to say so. We have some awesome people.
Yeah, yeah. And that's to everyone. No one else feel left out. You're all fabulous. All right. See you later. Bye.
See you
Nice to
later.
see you,
See you.
David.
Bye.
Superstar over here, David. You're a superstar to me.
Nice to
Melissa,
see
you and I are
Melissa.
having words.
No, you don't understand. David actually did face-to-face training with me with Occam many moons. Like, I'm a horrible person to train, and he was so patient when I was a little whippersnapper. So I have a lot of love for David, a lot of love, because
So
he
do we all.
didn't tell me how crap I was. So yeah, really lovely to see you, and thank
Love
you
to
so
see you,
much
Melissa.
for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Okay, I can't see who is left on the call. Does anyone have
Still
any?
got 14. Yeah, I've got.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions?
There's a few people still here, unless they've left it on in the background. Sometimes they do
There
that
was a
as well.
question about whether the workshops could be run over Teams in some form for people that couldn't make it to Milton Keynes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we have anyone left on, do we?
Got a few
Looks like
people,
we
but I don't know
do have a
whether
few.
they're actively engaged.
It's a really
without
interesting
process of
question,
leaving.
and the easy answer is yes, of course. The benefit we've seen, however, and I realise travel can be a challenge, the benefit we've seen is just getting out of your work environment, getting away from multiple screens, Teams and Outlook, like being in a room with no distractions means that people have kind of got 3 times the amount from it. So it's a bit of an upheaval to get yourself out to Milton Keynes, although transportation to Milton Keynes is really good. But yeah, I think we can consider that. But my gut reaction is the on-sites have worked so well, I probably want to keep them that way.
Keep with those. That's fair enough.
We might be able to choose different locations though. That might be a good
Yeah,
solution.
that was my other thought. I'm just thinking those sort of north of the country, that, or if they're sort of a little bit in an obscure area, it might be an option. But I completely get your point about having multiple screens. It's people get distracted, don't they? It's
far too easy. Yeah, it's far too easy. Sarah, once again, thank you for helping us put this on. It's really
and
appreciated.
Ireland. Sorry, Suzanne.
And Ireland, yeah.
Suzanne, I've been wanting to. There's 2 Suzannes. You share the name with someone else in our community. Are you Suzanne from UCD?
No, from Queen's, Belfast.
Got it. Understood. Yeah, Ireland. I think we could definitely do something to best engage those in Ireland. I will say we've seen actually a number of people make the trip into Luton Airport and a quick hop across to Milton Keynes. I know that's a lot of upheaval, but we do see people do that time and time again. But I think we could consider, simply because the water separates us, I think we can probably consider something in Ireland. We have a lot of customers over in Ireland.
Yeah,
Like something in with summer conference next year. Be good.
Yeah, pretty cool. Well, thank you, everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you. I really appreciate everybody giving up their time this morning. So thanks, team. And yeah, I'll get an email out later today just to confirm it. If somebody is able to send the slides over, that would be fantastic.
Brilliant. And likewise, are we able to get the recording as well, please, Sarah?
Yes. Yeah, I'll get the recording over to you later today as well.
You're a star. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
Cheers,
nice
team.
to see
Thanks a
everybody.
lot.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.